Welcome, listeners. You are about to embark on a journey unlike any journey you've journeyed on before. So leave your preconceived notions of what a podcast is at the door. Otherwise, the format of the podcast might seem a little derivative. You are listening to Sinclarity, A Dinosaur's Tale, a podcast where friends watch and review a show from 1991 in which dinosaur puppets behave in a humanistic way. Please enjoy your extinction.
Ben!
Hey,
what are you doing?
I'm recording the intro for our bonus episode of Sinclarity, A Dinosaur's Tale.
Why do you have, like, the serious voice on? What are you doing?
Why aren't you wearing pants? Like, what do you mean? What am I doing? This is just normal.
Because this is quarantine.
This is a serious
podcast.
This is a serious podcast about serious things like dinosaurs, puppets, Jim Henson.
No,
like
Ben, it's about a TV show written by a bunch of white men who were.
Okay, fair enough. So what should we tell them then to prepare them now that if people are joining this as new watchers of the show Dinosaurs because Disney Plus just added it? What should we tell them?
We should tell them that they should watch the show, and they should listen to us, and realize that we aren't that funny.
We're not as funny as all these old white guys from the 90s writing this show.
No, not at all.
We were, up until the show was available for streaming, we were just tricking people. And now they can actually just watch the show and realize, like, oh, it's not as funny to listen to.
Yeah, and should we kind of tease what this episode that we're about to show them is about?
Well, yeah, especially because, like, this is, like, a bonus episode, and I think the first 10 minutes of it are a bunch of jokes about Louis C.K. masturbating in front of people. And I gotta clarify, I promise you, we don't condone it. We're on the right side of history, I think.
That's right. No creepy comedians on this show.
No Nick DiPaolos, no Louis C.K.'s, no Aziz Ansari's. This is strictly pure Andrew Dice Clay at worst podcast. Dane Cook at worst podcast. You guys ever go to school? You know the Kool-Aid Man? That kind of shit.
Yeah, and if you go back in our episodes, you can hear Ben make those exact Dane Cook jokes again.
Exactly. That's if you listen to our podcast at all, you can hear us make the same jokes multiple times. That's the whole thing.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, that's all we got. So I guess
yeah.
Sit back and relax and listen to the show.
Yeah, and Tim can put pants on maybe, and then we can like all enjoy dinosaurs together.
Yeah. And we'll make money off of all the streams when this show finally goes live on Disney Plus.
Yeah, that's how it works. We somehow are going to make millions.
Hey.
So yeah.
Disney owes me money.
Why do you? Because you live in Florida? Is that like a Disney thing?
No, because Issa got us Disney passes for Christmas last 2 years ago, and we only got to use them once, and then they didn't give our money back, and nor did they like say, "Don't worry, when the pandemic's over, you can just come in whenever you want."
You heard it here first, folks. Walt Disney himself fucked over our tip. But yeah, enjoy this episode. Hopefully, maybe Zach will add something to the end of this promo. Probably not, though. We'll just go right into the Cartoon Network theme song.
Honeys,
we're home. Hello, and welcome to Sinclarity, A Dinosaur's Tale. This is episode 22, and it's a bonus episode. You can tell because this is Ben Hand Up Me introducing it, and I'm here with my co-host.
We're gonna need another Timmy.
Fuck yeah. How are you doing, Timmy?
I'm good.
Yeah, I don't really care. So anyway, we have another co-host with us today. We have our producer in the studio. Well, introduce yourself.
I'm insert dinosaur pun Zach.
Zactolites.
Ooh, Zactolites
That
in
sounds
the
way
house.
too horny. I don't know.
Like Aaron Keefe said, the show is 80% too horny.
I think she may have
When she-
underestimated.
Yeah, and I also, when she first started saying it, I was like, "Oh, is she saying that about us or the show Dinosaurs?" I wasn't 100% sure.
No,
I was worried.
No, this show isn't horny. This show is like low T. Like,
This is Volcel. This is a voluntary celibate show.
yeah. It's like really polite. Like the kind of people who like ask women if they mind if you like masturbate to them. Like, would you be so kind as to allow me to jerk off to you?
As long as you ask, unlike Louis C.K.
No, not while they're there. Just like later. Like, I want to think about you later.
It's definitely so much worse to bring it up. I mean, I could be wrong. I've never been to the pearly gates. I've never been shut out of heaven, but I assume if you ask, it's worse.
You know, like,
I love that this is the first thing we're talking about.
exactly.
I don't love it.
Welcome, new listeners.
Yeah, welcome
You
to
came to
listeners.
hear about dinosaurs.
Yeah, and this is the whole thing is we're releasing this episode the day of the release of Dinosaurs on Disney Plus, so we wanted to like have a special bonus episode to welcome people to the fucking world of dinosaurs. And like so of course we started off bluer than some Bluey CK ass work, but like yeah, so like Dinosaurs is now streamable, so this podcast isn't as niche as it was before. Now it's actually mainstream, and we're planning on selling out big time. Like, I already have a deal with Nike, Tim has a deal with Adidas, Zach is still stealing from the dumpster behind the Gap outlet, but it's we're doing good.
I got my all day I dream about sex deal. That's right.
Look, I have a
We're Vol cells.
I have a co-branded deal with Parlor.
I hope you got your money before they went under.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh no!
You're not going to be able to cash those checks. I'm sorry. Just send them directly to George Soros, and you'll get your money eventually.
Ooh.
You know, Soros took down Parlor just in one fell swoop.
I feel like last time we did a bonus episode, we talked about some other right-wing conspiracy where they referred to.
Tell their listeners what episode so they can go back and listen to that.
It was the Simpsons bonus episode about Khan and Kodos. We
Is
can
that
start
what
with
Oh yeah.
yeah, and it was about
the coin. The
what was
coins.
his name?
Soros bucks.
The guy who
wait,
ran
what?
for president.
Yeah, he ran for president around the same time as Bob Dole.
The really racist guy.
Yeah.
That's everyone who's ever run for president. I don't really know how to narrow
I mean
that
the
down.
really racist guy.
Donald Trump. Right.
He was the one who used the word British to like dog
British.
whistle
That's
Jewish.
That's what it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
I'm on the like fucking Wikipedia episode or Wikipedia page for that episode, and I can't find the guy's name, and I'm really annoyed. I was hoping to really pull this off quick.
Yeah.
That's okay. Well, this is kind of like what this episode is, though. Is we're gonna kind of give you guys some information about the show and our show, but also some info and tidbits about this sort of dinosaurs. So if you're starting here, you'll know to go back and you can listen along with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So,
we could probably repost episode 1 to go along with your Dinosaurs rewatch.
Do we know how to do that?
I don't know. You're the one who
I'm
handles
just
all that.
Uploaded.
I'm just saying, like, y'all are setting me up for something I don't know how to do. So I just
If not,
I mean, you
just
know
go
how to
back.
post an episode, right? You're the one who does it. Have these been going out to no one?
these are just for my mom. I don't know what you guys think is happening.
So just resend her episode 1.
Yeah, she's got Disney Plus, right?
She's got something. That's all I know.
Shame.
Sorry, my brain is entirely consumed by trying to find out this fucking name of this politician.
Why don't you just look up the election year? And then,
That's crazy. Why would I do that? Third party candidates, 1980s. This is like, I'm really annoyed by this because it was supposed to happen seamlessly, and now I'm like actively trying to find this fucking person's name. It's not Ross Perot. Jesus, it's close enough. Guess what? It doesn't mention that joke on the fucking Wikipedia page. I'm just done with this. How did I even find this out? Why did I research it so hard when we did that episode?
I don't know.
That I found some shit that wasn't even actually referenced. But yeah. So anyway, I think it was probably like Bob Dole. Let's just say it was Bob Dole.
It was definitely Bob Dole.
It's definitely Bob Dole. What were we talking about, though?
We were just talking about
Something.
the show. And about what we're doing with the show. What this bonus episode
How'd y'all get way more
is all
lost than I
about.
was?
What this show is all about, basically.
So anyway, we have this podcast about the show Dinosaurs, and the concept is that Tim has been a fan of the show for a long time, and I am aware of it to an extent as a kid because we were both born in I was born in 1990, Tim was born in like 1981 or something like that, and 87, same thing. And so Tim is basically dragging me along to watch the show, and I'm watching the episodes as we record them. So this is fun for people joining in now because like you get to start from the first episode we have and watch it along with us.
And I've said it before in other episodes, you don't really have to watch the show to listen to this show, but some people prefer it, so now's your chance to actually do it. So
It's also a fun show to watch. Like it's worth it.
it is a fun show.
A lot of my friends are very excited about the fact that it's going to finally be like easy to access and they don't have to bum the DVD rips off of us since I have the DVD collection.
Guys, it took way too long. The politician was named Lyndon LaRouche.
Lyndon LaRouche.
I found it. Lyndon LaRouche was right. It's the
Thank
quote.
God. I'm so used. It's like 2021 now, so I can't not know a thing. Like now that it's like you're supposed to know a thing because you can just grab it from wherever. Whenever you don't now, it feels like fucking like cancer.
No, how can one sleep?
No offense
at
to
night
everyone
not
else who died of
knowing?
cancer.
About
Lyndon LaRouche.
Well, thank God.
My dear Lyndon LaRouche.
Thank God that
Nevermore.
Zach is here to help us out.
That's my
we got
crack
our
producer
fucking-
skills.
Yeah.
our crack producer. It's that he also is good at mixing cocaine with baking powder. He's
Also crack
he's our
producer.
crack,
Yeah,
he's our crack
that's right.
producer. I bet it's somebody's gonna listen and be like, it's baking soda.
So look, I
Like,
have
fuck.
right. As we record this, I am like 2/3 of the way through editing the most recent episode, and right now for the cold open,
and 1/3 dressed.
I have a conversation about what it's like to do cocaine. Which
Oh
is
my God.
very funny.
It's really funny, especially because Tim and you are both straight edge shows. And the reason I brought that conversation up was because I was just listening to Marty's stand-up album, and he has a whole bit about like how he's mature enough now that people will offer him cocaine at midnight, and he'll be like, just a little. He's like, I gotta go to brunch tomorrow. Like, I'll just have a little bit. And I was like, while listening to that in the shower that morning, I was just like, I fucking love it.
No, that's super funny.
He's very funny. I can't wait to have them back on the podcast.
Yeah, and we've had some really cool guests too. If you want to go back,
And here they are now. Joe Rogan, come on in.
all right.
Oh boy.
Hey, a buddy of mine was on this podcast. That's crazy. You ever eat 100% meat out of a bottle? But yeah, we've had our friend V was on, our friend Bree was on. People that didn't rhyme too, not just rhyming names.
Woody.
We also had
Our enemies,
Woody,
Marty and Sarah.
Shit, that rhymed too. Our enemies, Marty and Sarah. So Marty, Bree,
starting
V,
to
and
feud.
Woody all rhyme to an extent.
I'm starting a feud. That's it.
We already did.
I thought we were going after last
we already
podcast.
did. We started a feud.
Oh, it didn't work.
Yeah, they've never heard of us.
Like, I forgot about it.
They
That's how
never-
much it didn't work.
They never will.
I started a few with
'Cause they'll be dead? Is that what you're
cereal.
Yeah.
I tried to start a feud with Making a Murderer, and they were like, "We're gonna come after you next." And I was like, "Never mind."
Look, I think a non-Syad neither did or didn't kill her. Like, that's how this feud with cereal's gonna go down.
Did or didn't. Either did or didn't.
No, neither. He neither did nor didn't.
Oh, that introduces a whole nother level of.
Also, Bo Bergdahl
Anyway, I thought
neither
that
did or
podcast-
didn't. Like,
I
all right, I can't even make it.
I love watching
Serial
that joke
season 2
die on the
joke.
vine there.
That's why we're starting a podcast called Cereal. So, but I don't think the mini wheats were shredded, nor weren't they shredded.
That is a segment on Doughboys.
Of course it is. Of course it is. I am very not surprised by that.
It's when they talk about seasonal cereals.
I had to get a specific lamp
blueberry?
in my room.
Yeah,
I had
that's
to get a
right.
lamp in my room to help me deal with seasonal cereal. It's like a certain level of brightness. I don't deal with it.
It radiates Count Chocula.
Yeah.
So yeah, welcome to Sinclarity. That pretty much gives you a good gist of it. But what we're doing with our bonus
Dinosaurs and
episode is what we're doing with our episode is basically a couple. All three of us have like, other than Tim, probably have like a concept for what our third of the episode is going to be. I only say that because Tim hasn't said shit
already
about it.
told
All he
you.
did was get
I
off work and take a
I
nap.
already told you what I wanted to do, but we'll get to it.
Okay, cool. Never mind. Bearing the lead.
I have a journalism degree.
I'd really
Which
like
is
to
what
bury
every-
the lead.
That's what every drummer wants to do when they're on tour is bury the lead.
bury the weed.
You know what they need to hear more than the vocals? This fill.
Take it away,
Sucks
Phil.
when you can't hear the vocals in your monitor.
Dude, same.
Just drummer problems.
I usually just give up. I'll be like, yeah, can I get that in the monitor? And then they'll be like, can you hear it? I'll be like, I can't. And I'll just be like, yeah, okay, sounds good.
They're like, oh, cool. We barely even turned it up.
We pretended to listen to the drummer. I don't know. We can start off. Zach, we've had you on the podcast before. I don't remember if we asked you your history with the show Dinosaurs, though. Did we?
I don't think so, because the
Yeah, we're pretty
first-
rude.
I feel like the first one, yeah, the bonus we did, we talked about The Simpsons, and then I don't know if we talked about it on the actual episode that I did.
The one with Stove, the Zach Delights. The Grep Delights.
I think I was too angry at how stupid those things were. How
You
much
really
I
did not
hated
like them.
I thought they sucked, and I'm just gonna go on a side rant here. I thought they sucked, and I thought Earl was a piece of shit.
They're gonna be the breakout star of like the Disney Plus run is gonna be the Grep
yeah,
Delights.
everyone's going to want Graftolites merch.
I think they're gonna do like, because it's like Disney and Marvel are one now. I think it's gonna be like a really dark version of Dinosaurs. That's the reboot. It's gonna be gritty. It's gonna be dark.
Graptophytes.
They're going to be the Baby Yoda of this.
Baba Yoda.
Well,
Baba
the
Yaga.
way that the Graptolites at the end, like, there's the happy ending where it's like the two like androgynous siblings, I guess, fucked and had children to like perpetuate the species. Like the happy ending, hopeful ending of that, like with the reboot, it's that they don't, like, they fuck, but they don't get pregnant because they're both like males or something. Like, it's dark. There's no way that they can save the species.
You
in
heard it
any
here
way.
first. It's always a dark ending when two males have sex.
Well, no, they just have sex and you see it, and then they get eaten by a dinosaur anyway. Like,
I
while
like
they're
how
having
your
sex.
parallel to this was Star Wars, but I can't remember a single Star Wars where it's like in-depth sex scene right now.
There never was,
Well,
but there should be.
There was one when Luke Skywalker was nursing from that alien.
Oh,
That's how
Wait,
I
would
choose
you
to
find
remember it.
That was pretty kinky, but
What-
it was hardly sex.
All I'm thinking about is him being on the Hoth and climbing inside that fucking animal.
That too.
Yeah, he got inside it.
Yeah, but Han put him inside.
He had a history. Han zipped him in and was like, get it.
He put him in there.
He's like, this will keep you warm and juicy. What the fuck am I even saying?
It's insane to imagine Han will do anything other than a solo scene.
Sometimes
But,
I really appreciate that my wife doesn't listen to this.
Yeah, that's
So,
good.
yeah,
Otherwise, she would not be your wife any longer.
So yeah, I'm 36, and I was a child in the 90s. So I watched this show
Subtle
with my
brag.
sisters. We were a TGIF family, which is to
Jalapeno
say,
poppers, mozzarella sticks.
we watched as much TV as we could. Yeah, I remember watching it and thinking like, oh, this is cool. But like at the time, I would also watch like This Old House or like
Bob
America's
Vila?
Test Kitchen. Yeah, like I would watch like literally whatever was on. I would watch like Ricky Lake and like Jenny Jones and all this like ridiculous stuff. Like I watched that's how I have this like encyclopedic knowledge of like stupid trivia. And like
Yeah.
I'll say something to Kristin and I'll be like, oh yeah, you know about this, and she's like, what? And I'm like, oh, you don't know about that? Okay. All right.
She's older than you too. Canonically.
She's about a year and a half older than me. I refer to her as a cougar a lot.
Another reason she shouldn't listen to the podcast.
Wait, isn't that a compliment?
I do
don't
love-
understand.
I don't know.
So yeah, so you were a 90s kid, so you had some experience with the show. You watched it on TGIF, as well as This Old House and Ricky
This
Lake.
old house.
Yeah, I
That's
watched-
fair. I love that.
Yeah, I watched everything I could on TV.
So, did you
yeah,
like?
But
the
yeah,
home
like
and-
so this was part of it.
Did you?
So while you were watching Dinosaurs as a kid, at any point we're just like, when I grow up, I'm gonna edit a podcast.
I was like, I've never
You're
heard
like,
of
I'm
the internet
inventing what
yet.
podcasts are.
I've never heard of the internet yet, but I'm gonna edit an internet radio show about this.
This is an interesting topic. I don't think we specifically got into before, but what is your first experience like that you remember of using the internet,
Oh.
or at least the most significant one, if anything?
Yeah, I feel like there was definitely like internet at school kind of stuff, like in like the computer lab, but like
For
the most
nerds.
part when I was in like 4th grade or 5th grade, like that kind of like that time period, it was all like, oh, there's the computer lab where you go to learn typing, and there was like you'd get real stoked if you had a chance to play the Oregon Trail. Like if there was a break at the end of like class and it was like, oh, we got 10 minutes, we can play Oregon Trail, and it was really
You're like,
awesome.
hell yeah, I got dysentery.
Yeah.
I remember.
It was cholera,
I
it's
remember like in our computer classes that we had in elementary school. It was always like fucking like educational games like Math Blasters or some bullshit like
Math
that.
Blaster,
Yeah.
Yeah, we had one called
There was
Word
this-
Muncher.
That's what they call
You
it.
had to,
There's
like,
one
eat
I
the
remember-
nouns or something.
There's one where you went around this building as like this kid, and you had to solve math problems while like shooting stuff with a laser gun. And I remember I found that years later and downloaded it, and I didn't have speakers on my computer, but there were sounds happening, like music was happening, and I started freaking out, like, is my computer haunted? What is happening? And I found out all those older games, they use the literal sound card, the chips on your sound card
Yeah.
to make the music, and it came right out of there, and I was like, what the fuck? It's so weird.
Yeah, that's super weird.
But my earliest experience, we had the internet in our house. I remember before we had it, though, I would see commercials on Disney that were like, go to www.disney.com.
Yeah.
And I tried to do that. I would open Run on my computer and type that in, and then nothing would happen. I was like, bullshit.
I don't get it.
But then once we did have the internet, I looked up pictures of ghosts online, and I would have neighborhood kids come over
Why?
and be like, hey, we get 10 minutes of free internet before we get kicked off because other people are using it. Let's look up ghosts. And they're just like, can we go
Look up
outside? I was
ghosts.
like, no, look at this ghost in
we got
this
10
church.
minutes to ghosts. Let's just do that first.
I remember.
And
Go ahead, Boone.
no, I was just gonna say it's if you look up now, it's almost all the same pictures as when I was 6.
Ghosts.
Ghosts have not changed.
That's good. Ghosts should never change because they're here forever.
They should just be themselves, you know.
That's true.
I remember when we
I wrote in Ghost Yearbook, never change.
I wrote, I'm signing your crack right in the middle of it.
I remember when we first got our home computer with the internet and stuff. And I remember just going to like Pokemon.com and just printing out like a thing about Charmeleon and thinking that was the coolest thing ever. It was like a sheet.
That was early internet though. It's like you'd go to like, you'd be like, I don't know any fucking websites. You'd be like,
Nickelodeon.com,
PowerRangers.com, and then you'd read about Power Rangers, and you'd be like, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah, it was like, never as cool as it should have been. Like it
cool.
always, you always expected there to be better things. You're like, okay, this game almost works on this website. Like,
I remember
this is almost something worth doing.
I remember the Goldfinger website had like a cool like flash animation. Like when you went to the homepage, I went to the Goldfinger website. I remember like the Simpsons website.
That's hilarious.
Was cool when I was like 14 or something, and it had like
yeah.
I remember one of my like my it might have been my first or second email address was at thesimpsons.com.
Oh my god!
Like,
How did you
they
get
had
that?
a web like an email thing because they had them. They offered it. It was
At
weird.
thesimpsons.com.
We had a drummer whose email was at Lycos.com, and I thought that was crazy. I was like, at Lycos? Really? It's like that's like having an at Dogpile email. Like, what the fuck? I had an at Juno email for a long time because that was the one they advertised in videos of how to use the internet when we were kids. Let's go to Juno.com and set up an email. And then like 3 years ago, they deleted the website. They were like, Parler infiltrated us. We gotta get out of here.
So many Parler references already.
The Flame Wars.
Parler, I hardly know her.
But yeah, my favorite internet memory though is definitely getting AOL Instant Messenger. That was the coolest thing ever.
Oh yeah, man, that was awesome.
I love it.
It's still the
That's
coolest
all.
thing ever. I just played Did you ever play the game Emily is Away?
No.
It's a video game that exists. I have it on Steam. And you play as you're on AOL Instant Messenger and you're having a conversation with a girl that you kind of like in high school. And like no matter what, there's like 80 different possible endings, but no matter what, you don't end up together and you have to deal with it. And it's like once a year you have a conversation and it affects the conversation next year. You have options like, she's like, do you listen to band Snow Patrol? And you can lie and say you do. And she asks you what your favorite song is. And I remember playing this game and Googling songs by them so I could answer the question right.
God.
You wanted to
Just
cheat.
like I would have done when I was 12. Just like, no, that's what I would have done, so that's fair. When I was 12, if a girl said, name a song by this band, I was Googling it.
I would have been like
dogpiling it.
I would have been like Snow Patrol fucking sucks. Like I would have been an asshole because I just didn't.
I did that. I replayed it and I told her Coldplay sucked and she like got mad.
Look, man, that first album though, they got some hits.
The first Coldplay album is
no matter what band you say sucks, Zach is gonna say that first album's good.
Except for Snow Patrol.
I've learned this. Except for Snow Patrol.
Yeah, the second album's the good one for Snow Patrol. No, I couldn't name like if a Snow Patrol song came on, I'd be like, "The fuck is this?"
You don't know the one?
Yeah.
It's like if we just lay here. You don't remember that one?
Oh, that's Snow Patrol.
Yeah.
I hate that
They
song.
used-
I hear it at work
Yeah,
all the time.
They used to play it
That's Snow
at my
Patrol,
old
is it
job
really?
too.
Dude,
Along
that song sucks.
with fucking 311, they would play random ass 311, and then they would just play like all the most VH1 fucking songs. Like,
So we have this like system that has like, there's like 6 stations you can put on, and one is like that shitty Snow Patrol station, and then one is like some pop
Snow Patrol
music.
station.
One's like country western, and one is like yacht rock.
hell yeah!
And like, what's funny is like one of the assistant managers, I like complained to him once because it was this like yacht rock, and I was like, dude, I can't listen to this 70s music anymore. It's driving me insane. I fucking hate it. And he goes, yeah, I left it on here because Tammy doesn't like it. This woman in another department. He's like, yeah, because it gets on her nerves, so I left it on here. And I was like, oh my god. And I was like, okay, I respect that. Leave it. And then a couple days later, I came back and was like, all right, man, can you just change it? Like, I can't deal with this.
Please turn off the yacht rock.
No, but then the other day, someone mentioned that a different assistant manager put on the country station to annoy the same woman.
So she doesn't like anything. She doesn't like country western
She
or
likes
yacht
everything
rock.
but country and yacht rock.
Hey, it's Issa.
She's hiding.
What's she doing
She's
to you?
sweating.
I see shoulders.
She worked out with the switch. She's sweaty.
Oh, there you go.
You're the bottom. Who's the switch?
Oh my god.
God, this is gonna be a 3-hour file.
Oh god, yeah.
No, it's a joke about Tim.
Let's get okay.
Oh, fine. I'll skip my favorite Snow Patrol song, which is the one that's like, and here's to the nights we felt
That's
alive.
E6 and they fucking rule.
Look,
You're
that
gonna
song
say
is
that.
whack, but they have some good songs. Look,
The first
That's wild. They only have 2 songs, and you said that one is whack, but they have good songs.
they do. That one sucked. The one before that was good. The
Heart in a Blender?
Inside Out or whatever.
Yeah, I like about Inside Out is the singer on Twitter said that he was a virgin when he wrote that. I was like, we know.
Yeah, that's like.
And
That's
also,
like,
Nookie references it. That's how you know it's a good song. That's why Tim likes it. It's because in the song Nookie, he says, "She put my Tinder heart in the blender. Still I
Yeah,
surrendered."
it's good.
Oof.
That's how good that song is.
but it's like
Not even Fred Durst referenced it.
it's like that second Starting Line album where like he writes the song about like finally
Jesus.
having sex, and you're like, ugh,
Yeah,
this is gross.
I remember.
I want to tear your ass up like we just got
It
married.
was so bad.
Because like that first album was so good, and then that came out, and I heard that like
The first
single
album.
came out. The single came out before the rest of the album, and I heard it, and I was like, oh no, this is terrible.
I have trouble differentiating. Like when somebody says Starting Line, I have to be like, the Ready Set, Starting Line. The Ready Set. Which one is it? Like,
I don't
can't
know the
tell
Ready
difference.
Set.
That's good. They're the same band. I'm pretty sure they're on the same label, but I could be wrong.
Drive through. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Wow. I just heard two nerds. Two
Sure,
nerds
not
in my
thinking of
head.
Steel Train.
So anyway, Zach, do you want to start off with your segment?
I would love to start off with my segment.
Which I remember you wanted to talk about the beer hall push. No,
What are you talking
No,
about?
I don't
talk
know.
about this.
I've never even heard of that.
If
If it's a band, their first album's great.
It's the first coup d'etat. It was a failed coup d'etat by the Nazi Party before World War II.
Huh. So you're not talking about like the
Capitol
Reichstag
Hill.
fire?
It's the historical parallel of Capitol Hill.
Oh, God.
Sure. See,
So yeah, we're gonna cut that. So let's.
Crystal knocking the boots.
It's also an album by a bad stand-up comedian,
Oh, okay.
which one?
Doug Stanhope.
Doug Stanhope.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be Dane Cook.
Yo, I saw an interview with Dane Cook today, like currently, I think, and he looks so.
We haven't talked about Dane Cook
currently,
in too long.
He looks so old, and it's basically
Let me look at what he
the
looks
interview's
like.
about why people hate him. That's what the interview is about.
At the end, it was like, but also, why do you look so old?
You probably, if you didn't hear his voice, you might not recognize him because he looks totally different.
God, I follow this guy on TikTok who does Dane Cook impressions, and it's the funniest fucking thing. It's like, you remember school? You remember going to school? Like, we had to be at school, you know? You remember that? I'm just like, damn.
Is it ironic that Dane Cook is the least funny and an impression of Dane Cook is the most funny?
That is the issue. Do you remember the Kool-Aid Man? Like, it's just literally, do you remember this? I'm very loud right now. Do you remember this? And then he just
Oh,
rewords it
yeah.
8 times.
Oh yeah, oh no.
We were just kids. We were just like fucking kids, man. We were like kids, and we were there. And you remember that? You remember going to the fucking
In
school?
the
Like, I just can't deal
in
with
the
it.
interview, he talks about how his fans would come up to him and they'd be like, they would feel bad for being fans of him because yeah, like. Imagine
And they
if
tell
you
him
went
that?
to the
You
start.
would bring that up to somebody you're a fan of, like,
That is.
I know
rough.
it's
if you went to a
embarrassing, but I'm
Starting
still
Line
into
show,
you.
It was just like, look, I
After
love you
all
guys,
this
but everybody
time,
makes
I'm
fun of me for
into
listening
you.
to you.
So, is that Snow Patrol?
That's Snow Patrol. They would understand, though.
It's like if you introduced your girlfriend to like your friends, and then like one of them like pulled you aside later and was like, "Look, I like her, but you know, like,
The boys at corporators. It's not gonna work. So yeah, Zach, if you want to get into your segment, which is not the beer hall push.
Not the beer hall push. No, so what I wanted to talk about, and so I thought it was a good time to
talk about.
Let Ben sing a song.
I was trying to be quiet. I was trying to be quiet.
So I thought, like with the Disney Plus release, it's a good time. Like, hopefully we have like some new listeners, and maybe they want to get to know our hosts.
Okay, cool.
So I think there are a few things that everybody has in common here, and that's ska and ska, also ska.
All three of us, we can. Tim has limited Harry Potter knowledge. I was going to say Harry Potter's next.
Oh God, no!
This came up.
No Harry Potter.
This came up because Issa mentioned in the last episode that the one thing we talk about all the time but doesn't get mentioned is Harry Potter, and it's because I'll make references that Tim doesn't get. It goes through.
Yeah, but also, like, don't you ever feel bad now about, like, referencing Harry Potter when you think about what a fucking piece of trash J.K. Rowling is?
As a genderqueer person,
she doesn't think you exist.
I tweeted at her a few days ago, like, I'm rereading Harry Potter right now, and I love it, just thinking about how much you fucking suck. That was my tweet at her. Like, I didn't get banned for that. Got banned for saying some guy was dense on Facebook today, but whatever.
Look, you're her Santa Claus. Like, she doesn't think you exist.
No.
She does call me Santa Baby. Baby Yoda coming down my chimney.
Did you let her hurry down your chimney?
She brought curry down my chimney. But yeah, it is
Sounds
like
painful.
I was just watching. There's a Lindsay Ellis video called "Death of the Author" that's really like good about this. I was just watching it again today for like the third time. But I still have the books I got years ago from her, so I'm not financially supporting her.
Yeah.
And if I saw her in public, I'd pee on her. So it's
Wow.
JK. That's JK.
Rowling?
JK Rowling.
So wait, do you have like 3 ounces chambered at all times just in case, like, so you can like crank it out real quick?
In my chamber of secrets, yeah, of course.
Chamber of Secrets. See, I know
You
that
know,
one.
parcel tongue.
The secret's out. That's what you'd say as you pissed on her.
She'd just be like, as long as this is an AMAB situation, like, are you identifying as a male as you do this?
Yeah, she's got to ask first.
Yeah,
You're like,
she
no,
sucks.
and I married a duck.
But yeah, to clarify, Zach had a band called Muggle Dueling Club.
Yeah,
I did some songs under the pseudonym American Quidditch and Scavada Kedavra and the Hippogriffs. With those two bands was with a member of the Sidekicks was the main person in the band, so that was fun.
That's
Jesus.
wild.
Yeah, Toby Reef from the Sidekicks did everything except for the terrible vocals I did, which he didn't like because he didn't like Leftover Crack, and that's why I like to sing like when I was 17.
Wrong with leftover crack.
I agree. One of my friends was posting recipes you can do if you have some leftover stock, and I knew she didn't know Leftover Crack, so I could not make the joke I wanted to make in the comments, which was like, oh, that's my favorite ska punk band.
Ron
Leftover
Weasley.
stock. I had a song that was like called "For the Greater Good." That's like, if we something Muggle blood, it's for the greater good, and like it was pretty dope. Honestly, it's just
I mean, that sounds like a
this
lot of
isn't
fun.
what I was expecting. Yeah, we did like Scavada Kedavra was the evil version, and then the Hippogriffs was like the good version, and we had songs for each.
Well, you want to hear what my connection is
To what?
to what you're talking about right now?
Oh yeah, you're listening.
I was in a band called Witchbender. I started Witchbender.
And that's Night Witch, and that's no, I'm sorry.
Well, that's the thing is
I wish you were a Night Witch.
Night Witch was going to do a few shows with Harry and the Potters, and we were going.
Oh,
we
I know
were
those
gonna
guys.
we were gonna get invited to do like the tour. It was going to be Night Witch, Witchbender, and Harry and the Potters.
That would have been cool as shit.
But it never
Harry and the Potters were a good band.
happened.
They were a lot of fun.
I like
saw
the
them at
dark
multiple
markers, too.
libraries.
It's always libraries and Barnes and
Well, no,
Nobles.
so we booked them. We played with them at Top Cats once. It was us and them and Frankel
Yeah.
Project, and like it was good, but they played for way too long. Like they're used to just like playing a library where they just do their whole thing, and it was like. I think we were playing like after them still, and it was like they played
like,
for
guys,
like an hour, and we're like, "All right,
it's the
that's
movie
enough.
version, not the book version. Like, stop.
Yeah, it's the two final movies split up into
The
one.
final movies. The only one I saw live was the Whomping Willows, the solo guy, and that was fun.
Never saw that.
He was good. Yeah. So Harry Potter, Pokemon, Ska. Pokemon leaves Zach out a little bit.
Yeah, because I don't like it. But here's the thing: the things that I like are less important because it's like, okay, so here's just like the basics. Like Ben is from Kentucky, lives in New Orleans. Tim
Hell
is
yeah.
from Long Island, lives in Florida. That's where we're at.
Hell yeah.
I was
Ska,
to clarify.
punk.
To clarify,
Zach has gone nowhere.
I was born in Florida, and I lived in Long Island for 4 years. But
So when you moved, like, did you attach like a rubber band to yourself so it would pull you back eventually, or
just left a bunch of like pub sub crumbs just to follow your way back.
I realized that I didn't want to grow up with all those cool Long Island bands that got really popular when I was the right
Take
age.
It Back Sunday.
oh sure, yeah, no,
Like,
you didn't want to be around
I
for
just-
that.
Taking Back Sunday.
It's just funny
the
to
movie
like
life.
leave Florida to go like 20 hours driving from Florida and end up in like the cold Florida. You're just in cold Florida. You're like, hey, we're basically Florida.
Long Island is very Florida. It's true.
It is. It really is just cold Florida. Like that's all. That you can get hurricanes, but also shiver. Like everyone,
Look, I'm just
everyone
worried that
is
there
like,
aren't enough racists.
There are plenty in Florida.
if there aren't, just go to Boston.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah, go to
you can't be that far.
Boston.
Get lost in Boston. So yeah, so Zach is from Ohio and is in Ohio.
That's where
That's
I stay,
fair.
bitch.
It's cheaper than other places. What do you expect?
Look, when Hawthorne Heights said my heart is in Ohio, I figured like, the
felt
rest of me
that.
should stay there also, so I don't die.
Which is how hearts work. Rarely discussed. Important feature of hearts is you do die without them.
Anatomically speaking, I have to live in Ohio. I sang that song along with them, and I'm now required legally to live in Ohio for the rest of my life.
My heart lives in Ohio. I live in the moment. That's all I have to say.
Oh my god.
Oof.
So we've been doing this podcast since way back at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah, it's coming up on a year since we started like recording and stuff. But
Yeah.
we really dragged our feet in releasing episodes.
Yeah, that's Jeremy from Scotch and Network's fault. We're never gonna blame them directly, but
Except for right there.
except for it was just funny because they had they thought they emailed us back about like, hey, I want to verify this before I record, but is this what we're doing? And they messaged me 2 months later like, okay, so I was about to email you to ask what's up because you didn't respond, and I realized it was still in my draft section.
Oh no.
I never sent them. Yeah, so they we would have been able to start releasing early,
funny.
and then our Halloween episode would have hit on point, or just our Christmas episode would have been on point.
We would have been early.
I think it all worked. Yeah, I think it would have worked as well as. I mean, regardless, we would have had that snafu where my dad died and I had to quit recording for a couple months.
That's how
But,
I
like,
refer to it as a snafu.
It's just,
It's a
like
big
situation
a big
normal. All Ben's dad died. A snafu.
That's snafu.
Yeah. That Snafu Fighters fan died, and then we
Oh my
had to
god.
we had to wait a little bit. That's something that hasn't come up on the podcast, but it did really color my view of a lot of episodes because so many episodes are strictly father-son argument moments, which I've barely ever had, other than my dad being like, "Hey, quit stealing my painkillers," and I was like, "I'm 16." That's pretty much it.
I got a lot of pain, Dad. I got a lot of pain.
My heart's in
But
Ohio.
my dad was Yeah, my dad was always like really cool and did not care for traditions either, so it was usually pretty straightforward.
So would you say that your dad was the Robbie of your relationship and you were more of the Earl?
My dad was the Robbie and I was the Charlene.
Oh, because you're.
So I was like, I want money.
He always thought he was better than you.
Yeah. That's not untrue, but guess who lasted longer? But anyway.
Oh my god. I mean, why would you say
not
that?
yet. Not
we'll see, I guess.
Why would I say that? I'm allowed to. That's fair. But yeah, I don't know which did Robbie or Charlene do PCP. That's what I need to know for the rest of this conversation.
Robbie ate vegetables. He's the one who did.
Oh
PCP.
Yeah, you're right.
That's right.
That's true. That's
well,
true.
We'll get into that in my segment. Unless we want to go. Unless you want to go into it now.
I mean, if you're ready for your segment, do we know each other yet?
Yeah. Do the listeners
wait,
know
what
Tim
Hogwarts
yet?
house? What Hogwarts house are you guys in?
I don't know.
I never did it.
Tim's a Hufflepuff. So, let's be real.
So my wife Kristin, she did when Pottermore came out. This was like early on in our dating, and she did the quiz.
She's a Slytherin.
No. Well, the story will make that even funnier. She did the quiz to like figure out what house she was in, and they put her in
Hufflepuff.
Ravenclaw, and she kept like obsessing over it. And this was like a week or two of like talking about it and saying like, I just really think I should be a Gryffindor. And she's like, I think I know which question it was that I answered that made me a Ravenclaw instead of a Gryffindor. And do you think I should go back and retake it so it puts me in Gryffindor? And I'm like, no, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't keep talking about this. So then we go on our first like trip together. We went to Pennsylvania. We went to Pittsburgh to see
romantic.
Yeah, we went to see the Frank Lloyd Wright House Falling Water, and it was incredible. But we're driving, so we're driving there, and we're like, it's like 45 minutes out of Pittsburgh outside, and it's like there's no cell service, no reception. Like my GPS barely works. This was like 8 years ago, where I had like an actual like separate GPS mounted in my car. And as we're like driving along, listening to music, whatever, just thinking about whatever, and we hadn't talked about this in a week or two. Like it had been a while, and she just goes, I'm just really upset about this whole Pottermore thing, the house that I'm in. And I'm like, you have to fucking stop. I can't do this.
She's so upset she was chosen as a smart person. She's like, no.
And what I said to her then, I was like, the fact that you're considering cheating on a test to get into Gryffindor means you are not a Gryffindor.
Yeah, that's a Slytherin moment, honestly.
That's what I said.
That's funny. We had Erin Keefe was on. She's a Slytherin, which I think is really funny. And
she
so
sounded like it.
She sounded like a Slytherin.
She seemed pretty nice to me.
Yeah, I thought she seemed more like a Huff. I've always dated Hufflepuffs for whatever reason. That's like a thing. Also, none of this is real. But I've also only dated Hufflepuffs. I'm always March Gryffindor, which I just think is because I'm a Leo. I think it's like cheating. Like, I always am on the cusp of Ravenclaw, but then there's something I choose, like, where it's like, the fact is, Ravenclaws would be smart enough to not get in a fight over a traffic jam, whereas I would get out of my car and beat somebody up for shouting at me in traffic. I've been in too many situations where somebody just shouts something stupid at a show, and I've just been like, time to fight and get kicked out. Like, and that wouldn't happen as a Ravenclaw, because they'd be like, I paid money to be here. I'm not going to fight. That's stupid. Like,
that's how I always
Fighting
feel.
is for brutes. I'll write a scathing letter.
No.
This is my TED Talk.
Why did I turn them into like Niles Crane?
Because anytime you're going to write a scathing letter, you're Niles Crane.
That's right.
You're like, what will I do with these scrambled eggs?
Welcome to our Frasier podcast.
You've all expected it.
That my wife would listen to.
For sure. Yeah, but so that's our Hogwarts houses. So I guess if we want to transition, Tim can do what Tim wanted to do.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say what my Hogwarts house is, but I will say
no. That's deeply personal.
Hufflepuff. It's so
Team
obvious.
Flame all the way.
Team Flame? What is that? One of the? I'm Team The yellow guys.
What, are you talking about Pokemon Go? Because Pokemon Go is trash.
I thought we were talking about what's Team Flame then? I'm Team Magma.
It means he's gay.
I forget. I forget what Team Flame was.
You're Michael Buckley.
I just made that up. But I'm definitely a Bulbasaur guy, if that makes any sense.
His vulva is sore.
No.
Everyone knows.
God damn it.
This is chaos.
So anyway,
this is Sparta.
For since this episode is kind of like an introduction to the series, I think it would be really fun to kind of world build. So, which we've kind of been doing throughout every episode, and what is going on right now?
I looked down, and when I looked back up, Ben was like dancing out of the room, trying to like hold his headphones on so he could still hear. What's up? I don't know what the fuck just happened.
I thought something was happening. Like you were like took off your hammer. Like, is something going on outside? Like, is someone trying to break in?
Yeah, Proud Boys were storming. That guy with the horns, I saw him in the background.
He wanted to ask if he had some organic
ska band?
food.
Yeah, he needed his organic food.
Anyway, so like I was saying,
sorry.
We in this during the last couple of episodes over the first season, the second season, we've kind of been trying to figure out the continuity in this show, which there is none, but ourselves we're trying to do it. So I think it would be really fun to kind of go through like each character from the show and kind of give their background, what we know about them, and their characteristics that we can just take from the show alone.
Okay. So are we going just Sinclair family, or are we going like ancillary characters?
Oh, we could go all the ancillary characters. I don't care. We got Ralph Needlenose, Mr. Turtlepuss. We got them all.
We can kind of catch them all.
Well, now that I know his name is Ralph Needlenose, because I didn't know that.
I mean, I think it was mentioned in the episode we did with V, but I don't think we cared because Turtlepuss was also mentioned in that episode.
Yeah.
And that was the one we cared about because it was like they named him Vic Turtlepuss. Like,
yeah. So
that's
I guess
a real name. That's not strange.
But Ralph Needlenose gets mentioned again by name in the episode with the Issa that we just did.
So,
ooh.
So I guess we could start with. I guess he's kind of the main character, Earl Sinclair.
Well, he's the man,
Sinclair,
so he must be.
Yeah, he's the bumbling buffoon father from every 90s sitcom.
When he comes on, the 2.5 Men theme song comes on where it's like man.
Male, maley, male.
Yeah, male. Here's the mail, it never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail.
So maybe we should bring that up. Like we try to bring it up through episodes, but
they're males, not men.
Throughout this show, the women are females and the men are males. They very hardly ever refer to anyone as a man or a woman. It's
female.
Yeah, the show exists within the parlor. This is the parlorverse.
There's only two, man and woman.
Lyndon B. Shotman. So the thing about Earl, some facts about him. I think he's 42. It says in the first episode. He's never been to Europe.
Never been to Europe because it doesn't exist.
He's been a tree pusher for about 20 years.
He's been married for 20 years, right?
Yeah, for 20 years. Coming up in the second season.
We don't know.
What did he do before that?
He was a dance instructor.
He was school.
Wait, what?
He was just in school, and then probably like just finding himself backpacking, not through Europe, but backpacking somewhere.
No, he wanted to be. He probably was. I think he was a dancer, right? I think that's what we can.
Yeah, he probably is because he wanted to be a dance instructor, so he's probably dancing.
He probably danced in high school.
Look forward to that season 2, everybody.
Yeah. And
so, is there just a quick logistic question for being a dance instructor. Do you have to know how to do you have to be able to dance yourself, or could Ethel be a dance instructor? If she has that knowledge, does she need to be able to physically do it?
Could you physically do it if you didn't know? That's the thing is, could you teach it if you didn't physically know? Because I don't think so.
I mean...
if you're a man, yes, because of mansplaining, you can teach anything you don't know about.
Oh, thank God.
That's how that works.
That's where I wanted to... That was the answer I was looking for.
You're because I just applied to be a dance mom, and I wanted to make sure I had it down.
Yeah, I mean...
I'm just trying to dance here.
I can... Well, on the reverse side, I can play drums, but I couldn't teach anybody how to play drums.
You just lack patience. That's what that means.
Yeah. But, yeah, so Earl wanted to be a dance instructor. He did not get along with his father, as far as we can tell.
Yeah, but he respected
him. Do you think he had the same... Do you think... his father was Robbie, but his dad was Earl, so it switched?
No, because he mentions his dad was very, very traditionalist. He would was you have to hunt for prey in the wild, and you have to do this and blah blah blah, and that. No, his dad was hyper Earl. I think Earl was basically Robbie when he was younger. He just lost his way.
Yeah, his heart died when he moved out of Ohio.
So and he wanted to prove he was more macho than he was.
I think it's a real bummer that Earl was disillusioned as he got older and had a family, and his young idealistic wanted to be a dancer kind of thing is oh man, he had to abandon all that. And I think it really just reinforces the stereotype of well, your family crushes your dreams, and then you got to push down trees, deal with your shitty son trying to smoke weed or be gay or whatever eating vegetables means.
It does come into his whole thing of just I'm married, I'm not happy. Yeah, what do you want?
Exactly. But yeah, so that's pretty much a pretty good portrait of Earl. The kind of
portrait of Earl,
kind of person,
portrait of Earl Grey.
Not person, this kind of dinosaur he is. He also has a social security number, and it feels like he was one of the first dinosaurs to get married. We can't really tell.
Yeah, after Monica the vertebrae, but before a lot of other people.
Yeah.
Probably after BP Richfield, because he seems a little bit older than him. And he had his hurling day with his mother-in-law before Earl did. So I feel like he must have been married a little bit before he was.
That's right. So
if we can quickly tie in BP Richfield's longevity, he's a short character development. He, it's Earl's boss that we say so. He ate his previous boss to become the boss. He's eaten a lot of people, or a lot of dinosaurs. Yeah. He Kirby'd a lot of people or dinosaurs.
Them, yes.
he was bite the Kirby, and then he stomped him. He's a real Ed Norton of dinosaur.
Right.
But okay, so that's Earl. Fran, I don't know if it mentions her age compared to Earl, but I think they were in high school at the same time, so they're probably the same age.
Yeah.
Roughly.
No, he was a dance instructor at her high school, and that's what he meant when he said that.
Oh no!
He taught her instructor how to dance, as we learned from the mating dance episode.
Which that brings in another world building thing. Mel Lester, the guy who runs the mating dance thing, has been in business since 72 million BC, 12 million years before the show starts. So
he's been alive for 12 million years.
That's the thing, is he can't have been, because the oldest person is Ethel. She's 72. Yeah. So he has to have been a descendant of Mel's for years and years and years. Every son is named Mel.
No, it's like the Dread Pirate Roberts. He just took over and he's Mel now.
But yeah, Fran is roughly the same age as Earl. They got married 20 years ago and started living in a house instead of living out in the woods.
Yeah, because they don't have to put their jammies on in the middle of the night to find food.
I don't get that. He doesn't wear pants. Why would he comment on having to wear pants? Nobody wears pants.
He doesn't. Okay, I had to clarify this. Marty was wrong. That's not what the line is. Marty said something about getting pants on. It just says jammies.
Oh, okay.
So what?
I
he has
tried to
put
correct
on
it
like
during the episode.
like an Ebenezer
Marty could beat
Scrooge
me up,
style,
so.
like night dress kind of thing.
He has
Yeah,
night clothes.
like just
Yeah.
jammies. He has
I
night
guess.
clothes.
I mean, you'd think he'd
Night
just take
clothes.
his like shirt off.
Whoa. Just to go hunting, he takes his shirt off.
like
Okay.
Taylor Lautner.
Here's to twilight. These stars are mine.
So yeah, Fran has 3 children with Earl. She has Robbie.
Gross.
Robbie, who's the oldest, Charlene, and the youngest is Baby Sinclair, who never got a name.
AKA Junior.
And Fran, as far as we know, we're not there. Actually, the next episode that we record is where Fran gets a job. Because Fran doesn't... as far as we know, she's just a stay-at-home mom. Right?
Just?
Yeah. Yeah.
She does a lot
How
of
dare
stuff.
you, sir?
Resident sexist Tim says just a stand.
But yeah, she's with...
But we know that...
I was going to say, she's with Earl for some reason. She stays with him. We're not exactly sure.
Yeah, it's weird.
Because he's awful.
Trauma,
Yeah, there's
maybe?
no reason for that.
Trauma bonding.
Scared to get
It's
out.
just trauma bonding.
It's all the concussions Earl has. He just doesn't know what's going on.
And then, so Fran's mother is Ethel, and then her father,
Louis?
I feel like it mentions his name,
Yeah.
Louis. Yeah, that's it. Good job.
Yeah.
It's
He's the one who sat on the pipe.
Grandpa Louis
That's right.
died with a pipe up his ass.
That's not how he died. They got the pipe out of
They
him.
did? Did they say
Yeah,
that?
but he could
I'm
never
pretty
smoke
sure.
weed again. And that's how he died.
He was gonna be fine. Then he listened to a Dr. Dre song, and Snoop said, and Nate Dogg said smoke weed every day, and he's like
Also,
keeled over.
He's like, I tried.
Fran attended Lamaze class after she had laid her egg. So
Yeah, that's weird.
Very
Okay.
Hard
confusing.
part's over.
I wish. Okay, Zach. So you have 2 children. Have you ever
That's
been?
correct.
Have you
Yeah.
ever been to Lamaze class?
So Lamaze was like a very 90s thing where it was like this new like breathing technique that they used. We definitely went to like a birthing class, but it wasn't that.
Okay.
Still pretty hot. Wait, what do you mean we? You and Kristin, or you and
me and
Oliver's mom?
No, me and Kristin did, and because Kristin wanted to, because she's like smart and practical and like thinks of things like that. And I would have been like, "Fuck it, we'll just have a baby. The internet will tell us."
I'm not gonna get my money back from this.
But like,
You're like,
it
what
was-
else do you need? I already gained the sympathy weight. What do you need from me?
Yeah, like I'm fat. What do you want? But so you could either do it in one 6-hour class on a Saturday, or you could do it in something
The
like
road.
5 or 6 2-hour classes. It sucked. It was awful. And the woman who taught it was like the most honestly the most boring person I've ever heard in my life, and I had so much trouble like staying awake, and I downloaded like this shitty space game on my Apple Watch so I could play discreetly while we were like, it was so boring.
Dad time.
You
But
know,
it was like Kristin was like, "You cannot be on your phone." I was like, "I'm fine. I'm gonna download this game on my watch then. If I can't be on my
That
phone,
is,
then I'll
like-
do this."
Wow.
It's so boring.
I'm glad I thought of that now because when we had because Mike was on that episode, right? Mike Brody.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Brody was on it, and he knew about it being a 90s
Okay,
craze.
yeah.
It really was. Yeah.
Yeah, he mentioned that, but he also doesn't have kids. He just has dogs, a lot of dogs.
Okay.
Yeah, but when he gave birth to his dog,
3 of them.
he
Yeah.
had
It's
to
gonna take-
breathe real
Yeah.
special.
You're gonna have to breathe real.
Yeah, well,
special.
because he mixed a wiener with a golden retriever, and you have to breathe a certain way to get
if
that
you're
out of
giving
you.
birth to a golden retriever, it's gonna
To a-
hurt.
A golden wiener or wiener retriever is what they're called. You gotta really breathe correctly.
That's me, a wiener retriever.
Air cuck, wiener retriever. So yeah, Lamaze. Fran went there for some reason with a third baby. It's discussed in the episode where they think baby might be part Aubrey, part whatever. They think they're switched at birth.
Yeah.
So wait, how did that resolve? Were they actually switched at birth? Is baby not really theirs?
No, but it was bullshit. They weren't switched at birth. It was like a bullshit last 30 seconds of the episode resolve where the guy comes out like, the results were wrong, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I hate it. I hate that fucking
Science
so
is
much.
wrong. That's what we learned in that episode.
That's a big, if like one of my favorite shows is Adventure Time, and there's a thing the creator really hates convenient, like, plot devices. Like, he won't have them. Like there has to be a reason everything... Yeah, there has to be a reason everything happens the way it does. So, like, even between scenes, like, if Finn and Jake are going somewhere, they have to interact with their environment to do it. Like, it has to make sense. Like, it's really... Because he writes a lot of the plots based on D&D campaigns he's been in. So it's really, like, cool.
So it's unlike How I Met Your Mother, where, like, shit can just happen.
Yeah.
Where you met her at a bar and you were like, hey, babe, shit can just happen. Let's go home.
Where you spend the entire last season at a wedding... of a couple that gets divorced. It's 3 days. It's the entire season. It sucks.
That show has like diminishing returns every time I remember it. Like I loved it so much at first, and now I just hate it. Like I don't like that show.
Those early seasons are still pretty fun. Aside from like they do that
the slut shaming.
Well, but they also do the really terrible. Like sitcom thing where they'll like make a joke at the end, like at a commercial break, and then they'll repeat it when it comes back, and you're like, This is trash. Like, who the fuck thought this was okay? They're like, we're gonna get double on this joke.
Probably Michael Jacobs. We never know. No, it's the same guy who did like 2.5 Men or whatever. I forget the guy's name.
Chuck Lorre.
Yeah, Chuck Lorre did every fucking sitcom other than what Michael Jacobs did.
I don't know. Who's the guy
who
did
was like
Scrubs?
One of the bigger ones. Who's the guy who did Scrubs? That was JD, John Dorian, Dr. John Dorian.
No, he also did Spin City and Cougar Town.
Which,
despite the worst name ever, is actually like a funny show.
Yeah, but that Bill Lawrence?
Bill Lawrence.
He was good. Bill Lawrence is a good one.
Yeah.
He had everyone had bad ones too. Like, that's just it. But Bill Lawrence wrote, wait, hold on. What the fuck is this?
Waiting for Guffman.
Waiting on Ben.
There was a TV show called Rush Hour based on the movie Rush Hour.
Yeah, it's on CBS.
That's stupid. I'm so mad right now.
There was like
I love Rush Hour.
Look, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
That guy ain't going to be in Rush Hour 3. But yeah, Bill Lawrence wrote Clone High, which is great too.
Yeah, that's a good show.
Oh yeah, I heard that was really good.
He also wrote a couple episodes of Boy Meets World, so this all makes sense.
Yeah, sure. I mean, but just like Joss Whedon wrote episodes of Roseanne, you know, like
where he's like some sexy lady beats someone up.
Yeah,
no,
Roseanne.
it's weird.
Joss
Actually,
Whedon.
It's like it's he wrote like 2 episodes, and in both of them, Roseanne has like a weirdly like feminist subplot. and you're like, oh. So Roseanne knows
Joss
about
Whedon
these, like,
is interesting
icons.
in the fact, Joss Whedon is interesting in the fact that it's like this is like a feminist plot, but he like you feel like he's jerking off a little bit. Like he's like, this is like strong female role models, isn't it? Like, he's a weird guy, but he has some good work. I love Buffy for one, obviously.
It's too
Buffy
cheesy
is
for
great.
me.
No, I love Buffy. I love Firefly.
I love Firefly. Yeah. What about Dr.
Firefly's
Horrible's
very
sing-along blog?
Ugh,
So fucking good.
It's
That's
so good.
kill me.
I love Felicia Day. Fuck you. I love Felicia
Did you ever see
Day.
Did you ever see the This American Life live show that they did where he came on and did the musical commentary of Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog?
No, I didn't. I did not.
It was very
I
fun.
didn't know I signed up for this
That's cool.
podcast.
What you don't like? Okay, you don't like fucking Doctor. What was his
Dr.
name?
Horrible?
Shit, Doogie Howser.
Shit sucks.
Dr. Horrible sing-along blog. No, it was great.
It was really good.
Very influenced by Felicia Day's show Guild Wars, which I really loved.
And Nathan Fillion
that's
was really
the
good on
Guild.
it too.
Yeah, and is that the guy from Firefly? Is that his name?
Castle. Yeah, it is.
Anyway, so back to like, sorry, Tim, that we're talking about stuff that's good.
I'm so sorry.
No.
That we like good stuff.
Who's some other stuff to world build on? So Spike, we don't know who Spike's parents are.
Yeah,
That's something I want to learn at some point.
We don't know. Yes,
Robbie, you take this red pill.
Spike is Robbie's friend. I think Robbie is an important character because he's basically the voice of like reason, I guess. I don't know. What would you consider
So I think
him?
I think
He's
Robbie,
the audience.
Yeah, I was gonna say Robbie's the perspective, the perspective character, and I think that like Earl is the perspective. I think that like the way that who was it? Chuck Lorre. The way that Chuck Lorre intended this.
Michael Jacobs.
Michael Jacobs. The way that Michael Jacobs like crafted the structure of this family unit is like, oh, if you're the dad watching TGIF with your kids, you think Earl's the main character, but he learns a lesson. And if you're the kids, you think it's Robbie's the main character, and he shows kids that they can change their parents, and like by like doing, I don't know, by like believing in something they can. So it's like the dynamic is all about like, if you're the shitty father, then you're going to relate to Earl, the shitty father.
This is why we have Zach on the podcast, because he's like a film student and knows how scripts are written and knows that there's an intention behind it. Where me and Tim are just like, funny joke.
Well, it's something that's like, I'm sure super obvious, but I just hadn't really thought about until then. But it is really interesting the way that like, just depends on who you are. Like this ensemble cast really is like, you know. There's no one in late season Family Matters saying anyone other than Urkel is the main character, which is fucking wild.
Exactly.
But obviously, like Baby Sinclair
Urkel isn't the main
like,
character of that actual show.
But like,
yeah.
Baby Sinclair is like the breakout star, like the comedy star of this show. But nobody's saying like, you know, it's Baby's show. Like, but that's like the little kids get the laughs from Baby. The older kids get to look at it and say like, oh, I could be like Robbie and I can believe in something and convince my parents and make a change in the world. And I guess it's like, it's weird to like put such like lofty ideals on this fucking stupid puppet show, but like,
yeah,
you know,
No.
I think it's really interesting.
Right. Robbie is also, he's also experimented with vegetables and his sexuality.
Yeah. Which is interesting.
That is still the most confusing thing. It's like they're like, we'll do one about being gay, and then like, well, wait, hang on, let's maybe make it be like drugs, or wait, hang on, maybe we'll make it about being a vegetarian, because that's like exactly what it is. But like, we'll still make it kind of seem like he's gay and kind of like he does drugs, but like really, it's just vegetables.
It was definitely one
think
of the most confusing episodes, and if you go back and listen to it with Woody, you'll see how confusing it is to someone who's never
so
seen the
good.
show.
I think part of it is specifically that I feel like it was written. I feel like some of the writers were intentionally trying to make a parody of very special episodes, but in the future we don't have that perspective because it's just so weird. Like, but at the time, there's probably a few people who are just like, I get it. Like, this is like trying to be like, these metaphors suck because sitcoms have shitty metaphors. But also at the same time, while reading it that way, I'm like, maybe we're giving them too much credit. I can't tell.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, we live in a society like where like
we live in a society.
Meta commentary is so much more prevalent now that I don't know that they were doing meta commentary. I don't know that we should be giving them that credit.
It's hard to tell because there were shows before this, like the show Soap. Did you guys watch Soap?
No, but I'm aware of it.
Soap
Billy
was like
Crystal.
an amazing show. It's the first show. Yeah, Billy Crystal is the first show with a gay main character. Billy Crystal being the gay main character, and it was written like a sitcom in the style of a soap opera, where constantly dramatic things are happening all the time, but everybody was ignoring them because it's like a sitcom presentation. But it was very sardonic and meta the entire time.
So it's like a
there was like
toned-down
8 people.
children's hospital.
Basically, it was like, but it was just like, in the era, it would have been on the same level, just like years before.
Right.
Because there were like 8 different people were sleeping with a tennis coach and like all that shit was happening. Like, it was just so silly. Like, it was good, but they had that level where it was meta 24/7. Like, that whole show was full meta comedy. But It wasn't on TGIF though. Like that's the
Right.
thing. It's like it's not that level.
It wasn't on fucking ABC. Like,
Exactly.
or was it?
I was gonna say I'm not gonna research it. I don't want to be wrong. And if you don't research something, you're not wrong. QAnon, look it up.
Yeah, like,
That's what I learned from storming the Capitol.
I think they wanted to be as meta as they could be on ABC. Like,
Sure.
Some of the writers, I bet some of the writers were just fucking boring and didn't matter.
yeah.
I guess
But that's the thing with shows like this is there's so many writers you don't know.
I should say that's what I learned from the storming of the Capitol, because otherwise it sounds like I stormed the Capitol, and I'm really not trying to get arrested over some shit that is fucking vile.
Yeah, cover it up.
I don't want to be a part
now.
of that.
You're gonna be
I
on the,
thought about that for a second.
You're
I
gonna
was
be
like,
on the no
fuck, I don't
fly
want to get
list.
arrested.
No.
Right.
God, fucking.
Now I gotta stay in
Let's
Ohio.
just hope if they all die, you won't have to worry about it. So let's hope that happens. But like,
Oh jeez.
so is there any other characters we need to like specifically like suss out a bit? We know Ethel's the oldest, and it's weird that they were killed at age 72, because if you've seen the movie Midsummer, that's also the plot, is that once people reach age 72, they get thrown from a cliff. That's fucking weird that it's exactly the same death.
I think
And
I think Ben
very
has
serious
brought that
movie.
up on every episode since that episode, and I think he's going
It
to
is
keep
not.
doing
No,
it
I
until
called you
someone
immediately when it happened.
tells him, yes, that's correct. It is from Dinosaurs, and then he'll stop talking about it.
It's come up twice. I just bring it up in real life a lot.
I edit the episodes, Ben. I hear them.
It's like one of the most relevant things because that movie came out relatively.
It is
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
very recently, and it's like it was a huge release because Hereditary was the same director,
Yeah.
and Hereditary was a fun horror movie. I don't like
didn't
horror
see
movies
it.
in general. I don't like them. Hereditary and Midsummer are both really enjoyable and very cool.
Could we talk for a minute about It Follows?
That's like my favorite movie.
so fucking
It's horror
good.
movies.
I like it.
It's
Yeah.
so good. Right after me and my friend Jan watched it, and Jan was so afraid of it that they hid in the bathroom for half the movie. And then right after it ended, we had to go pick up my friend Ezra from a bar, but he ended up switching bars between when we talked, so he had to walk to my car from a different bar.
Oh, no.
But he was making a beeline down the middle of the street at 2 a.m. in the foggy
my
mist.
God.
And I was like, Jan, it did follow us. It did follow us. And Jan was like, no, I'm leaving the car right now.
So look, I'm also not like a big horror fan, and like I saw that
Yeah.
movie and it stuck with me. Like it was like it was.
It's that Christian guilt. I think that's part
I've never
of why
met
that
him.
movie hit.
Christian Guilt.
You don't
He's
remember
my
Christian
favorite
Guilt?
porn star. Christian Guilt.
But it really
that'd
is
be
like
a
that
good,
thing
like,
where you're-
gay porn name.
Oh God. So I have a little bit of segment that we'll transition into before we end. I wrote down some would you rather and some never have I ever questions based on the first season for everyone joining in.
Okay.
I also have some hindsight questions I'll get into first. One is in the first episode, Earl spares his dinner that gets away in the middle of the woods, and it becomes the executive, like, assistant manager at
Yeah.
We Say So.
We never see him again.
Never see him again. So, did BP Richfield eat him?
100%, of course. But-
100%. Because my first thing was like, why wouldn't he have eaten him? And I'm like, he had to have because we never saw him again.
He definitely
Yeah.
did him. For sure.
So I've got a question here. How did we go through the characters without mentioning your favorite Roy?
Roy is a 100% consistent bachelor. Always going to be a bachelor. Fucks everyone. Fucks
Always
all
the
the
bridesmaid.
wives. Always a bridesmaid. Always fucks the wives.
I know. In one of the last episodes,
Roy does talk to his mom every day though too. I think that's
And he
the
likes-
canon. He checks in with
and
his mama.
he likes females with really long necks. He's a neck guy.
He's a neck
He's
guy.
a neck guy.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Oh, I love a neck.
Nice. You like a nice neck?
When you were a kid, did you hear like stuff on like old TV shows where they would talk about necking and be like, "What the fuck does that mean?"
Yes. I assumed they were
Still don't get
vampires, right?
I thought that there was like some weird like horny thing of like rubbing your necks together or something. Like,
Feels
Rubbernecking.
good.
well, that's different.
That's the same thing as I remember being in middle school and like talking about video games that there was a game I hadn't played yet, and this guy in my school, I say guy, but he was 12. He's a guy now, but at the time he was a kid, and he was like, I was a necromancer in that game, and I didn't know what that meant, but I just imagined somebody making out with a neck, specifically him kissing a neck.
A
and I was
necromancer?
like, I don't like this. Yeah, exactly.
I like to think of myself as a necromancer.
I like thinking of myself as a Nick DiPaolo romancer.
So if we did like a dinosaurs themed D&D campaign, like whoever played Roy would be a necromancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
Plus the way he yells and stuff, he could definitely raise the dead for sure.
Like Ray Romano coming, established canon. 2 episodes I've mentioned it that way. And the howling, canon. And in the episode with Adol, I've mentioned that sounds like Ray Romano coming.
The howling was another nickname for it.
There was an episode of Hey Riddle Riddle where it was like pretty much right after we recorded that where Adol is doing a Ray Romano impression. It's great. Deborah. So BP Ritual definitely ate that guy, so that clears that up in episode 1 why that character never returns. Episode 2, the thing I thought was interesting is that Charlene requests to have a waffle with waffle meat.
Yeah,
and the thing that's funny to me is like, so she throws cereal into the waffle maker, it turns into waffles somehow, and then she grabs a box out of the freezer called 100% waffle meat. Like, what is that? Because the waffle was the cereal, so what is waffle meat? Like, even if you put bacon in your waffle, you wouldn't call it waffle meat. Like, that was fucking weird.
I mean, if you took a bunch of meat, like, I don't really know, I'm not the expert, but if you just took a bunch of meat, like hamburger meat, and you put it on a waffle maker, it would just come out like a waffle, and it would just.
It would just be like a waffle, a waffle marked hamburger,
a Wahlburger. The thing to me is like it's still the burger didn't come out of a package called waffle meat, and that's what's funny to me is that's called waffle meat.
That's baby's favorite.
I mentioned also for episode 2 also is the Mel Lester being in business for 12 million years, meaning that civilization has to have been at least 12 million years old,
or he's
somehow
fucking
Earl
liar.
is the 18th person, or he's a liar. That's true. That's like a thing that like anytime like anyone tells a riddle and you can just be like they were lying and then it ruins the riddle. Like how did this person blah blah blah? I was like they were lying.
Those aren't fun
so
riddles.
For episode...
That's just called life, where people can fucking lie.
Just lie. Episode 3, I mentioned that's the hurling one that I mentioned, the Midsummer thing. Also, I mentioned the fact that how is Mel Lester alive, even though he started his business 12 million years ago.
He's an old ass dinosaur.
He's a ghost or a liar, or a lying ghost.
Ass dinosaur. Yeah, a lying ghost. It's when you're a liar. Okay, so if you're a lying ghost, did you die as a liar and you became a ghost, or did you die first and then start lying about like I ain't dead?
No,
I'm not
the
dead.
thing of it is
What are you
like
talking about? I'm not dead.
He was a ghost and he wasn't really making a name for himself, so he was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna be the lying ghost. I lie now.
I'm gonna be the lying ghost."
Roar! The lying
I was
ghost.
honest in life.
I'm the lying Dutchman. What do you fucking want from me?
Those fucking Dutch are always lying.
Dutchman flying is scarier. Oh shit.
Okay,
Yeah. We'll do that.
It would be if a ghost comes in and is just like not boo, and you're just like that's terrifying.
Wait, seriously? No. Ah.
So episode 4, how do you think dinosaur family cucking started? Because this is a big thing with Gary. Just like has to start that whole thing. Like, how often do you think that was? Like, is that just every time you're? What are you doing, Tim?
Sorry,
he's playing with Legos.
being professional.
Let go of it. Also, how come like we rarely see dinosaurs as big as Gary? Like, the closest is probably like there's a scene in Hurling Day where like Ethel and Robbie hide behind a tree because there's a giant dinosaur passing, and then there's Godzilla is implied that he's huge.
Yeah. Gary and the swamp monster.
Swamp monster. This is the scale issue is so weird because like Earl's a Megalosaurus and Roy's a T-Rex. Those are like two of the bigger dinosaurs. Monica's a Brontosaurus. Yeah. Those are some big boys. Those are some frishes. They got some
Nobody
breakfast
gets that
bar
reference.
going. That's a Midwest restaurant reference.
Great.
So
Now
most of
you're
our
talking
listener
about
base gets it,
Kroger or
but
whatever.
Oh, we'll talk about Kroger. I went to Kroger on my way home from work. I picked up a frozen Donato's pizza.
What the fuck is a Kroger?
Kroger, I hardly know her. I have almost all my reusable grocery bags are Kroger brand bags, and it's really funny because I get to go to all these random fucking grocery stores with a bunch of Kroger bags.
So at work today, I had to do this like new supervisor training class, and like in it, they were like talking about like delegating to like your associates and all this shit. And like in it, they were talking about like people not doing stuff that you asked them to do. And the whole time I was just thinking about like having that conversation with Ben about like throwing the all the paper towels into the dumpster. And I was like, God damn it! I hope I don't have to fucking deal with someone like Ben working for me.
I was 19-ish.
Suck.
That was a good story.
I had this came up because like literally yesterday, one of my friends posted about like how she got in trouble at Kroger when she worked there for like, it was like things that nobody should have gotten in trouble for. One was like she hugged a coworker, and like another thing, it was just some bullshit like talking to somebody. And she was like, what is some shit you got in trouble for at blah, blah, blah. I was like, I worked at Kroger, and I got in trouble for reading Lord of the Rings in the bathroom, clocking in and leaving for several hours, throwing away a pallet full of supplies. It was bullshit. I was just trying to live my life, Kroger. Let me live my life. And she was just like, what the fuck?
Like, you should have gotten in trouble.
Yeah. This is my friend who's like a real estate agent now and like a professional, and I'm just like, whatever. Like,
You're like, fuck it, man. Fuck it.
I'm a professional now too. I work at Domino's and I record a podcast. Fuck
you. Right. I waste my time in a different way.
Last things I want to mention is for this part before I get to my questions, is that law offices existed before return policies. That's what we learned from this. Because episode 4 is the introduction of law offices, and then episode like fucking 16 or something or whatever is the introduction of like the return policy.
Okay, but
like what the
but
fuck?
Hold on, let me ask you this: were there lawyers in medieval England?
Were there? Yeah.
Did they have return policies?
I didn't look this up. I just said yeah.
Well, that's it. You know, they didn't have return policies back then.
All I know is you had to bring out your dead.
Yeah, that's right.
You had to wag your genitals in the general direction. I'm just quoting Monty Python. I don't really know.
Yeah, you had to walk real silly.
You had to walk. You had to do the bunch of silly walks. There was a dead parrot.
So Monty Python is one of those things that
argue
that I didn't watch when I was 11 years old, so I don't love it. I don't get it.
It was a thing where I did watch when I was 11, so I love it.
It's 11-year-old boy
We were on
humor.
the opposite ends.
I know. Yeah,
exactly.
When I was 11, I watched Kids in the Hall.
So
I didn't watch Kids in the Hall until Amanda Charlton made me watch it when I was an adult.
That sounds right.
And I still
I
loved
watched it when I was like 12
that
or
is
13 because I was home alone watching Comedy Central during the summer.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You were Kevin McAllister, and you were watching Comedy Central.
Yeah, his very own cheese pizza.
Your girlfriend, woof. The last thing I have to say is about season 1 is the Howling Days. Is episode 5. We discussed during that episode Pokemon mostly because we were like, this episode sucks. Let's not talk about it.
We hated that episode.
Yeah,
just
it was boring.
alert.
But I
there was a lot about
directly
GoldenEye.
Yeah. That was. I really wish the video existed of Tim chopping that guy to death.
Me too.
That sounds so fucking
Me
funny.
too.
Issa watching and Tim just being like, I got him.
It was tight.
But yeah, that episode, it was clearly the parodies were like, the very overt one was PMS, because they had to do the whole like pre-Howling syndrome, PHS. It was stupid. Oof. I just like, a lot of these episodes, they try to like attack a lot of traditions in modern society and condense them, but it's so clear, just like with a lot of shows, that there's a different writer per episode, where there's no
there's no
canon
continuity.
Is loose. The canon is loose. Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's a general theme of this podcast. Is just trying to understand trying to
The
we're
loose
trying
cannon.
to apply logic to a show that doesn't really have any.
Yeah, we're trying to create a unified theory of Sinclair.
We're like Catholic priests right now. We're just like, ooh, so what is Leviticus? How do I tie this
We're
into
like
this
Catholic
sermon?
priests trying to diddle some underage dinosaurs.
What are you talking about?
So that was
reference.
Zach. That was Zach. Zach is off the podcast
There's no
now.
referencing we're Catholic priests unless we're making a joke about molestation. I don't want to try to associate them with
Lester.
something that isn't.
His name
evil.
is Mel Lester. Yeah, Catholics are evil. Trust me, I know.
Wow, you alienated everybody in Cincinnati.
That's. I was gonna be like, I grew up Catholic. I'm like, yeah, I'm from Cincinnati. We all know this.
You alienated every La Rosas.
Tim doesn't know about that because when Tim goes to Cincinnati, Tim just eats at Olive
No.
Garden, which is everywhere.
Yeah,
That's
because
not-
when he's here, he's family.
No, we eat in Kentucky. we don't stop at.
Kentucky is Cincinnati until it's Tennessee.
That's until it's Louisville,
Until it's Louisville, yeah.
and then it's
Or
a
Louisville
racetrack.
if you're from somewhere else.
Louisville.
So what I really think though is it's not about there's different writers, so the continuity isn't there. I think this isn't serialized in any way, because
Yeah.
you mentioned earlier episode 1 Earl lets his lunch go and it becomes the executive assistant or whatever. Did BP Richfield eat him? No, he just doesn't exist. That was one episode. There's no bearing. There's no later episode where they talk about Graptolite children. There's no one where they talk about Robbie smoking weed or whatever. Even later with
That's
the
true.
Graptolites, he should have been.
Episodic.
Yeah, exactly. When he
This
eats
comes
the
up another
grapes
time.
with the Graptolites, it's that's a vegetable. That's a plant.
Yeah.
Are you gay for these Graptolites? No,
Zach
they
thinks
don't even
grapes
mention
are
it because
vegetables.
that's a thing that doesn't exist. And that's why you guys are trying to come up with this show Bible, this unified theory, because they didn't do it. So we're trying to figure out what the fuck
That's why
are
we
the
have
rules
to do it.
here.
And
Yeah, and we're trying to get a job
think that's-
too, writing the reboot.
Yeah.
demonstrating that
Yeah.
we understand how continuity works and we're not gonna fuck it up like that chump Michael Jacobs.
That chump, Michael Jacobs.
Like a chump.
Like a chump, hey, like a chump, hey. Nookie, the best. The song Nookie really unifies the theory of this season, the
Yeah, 'cause
series.
it's good.
Yeah, stick it up your yeah.
That's the whole answer.
Yeah, now that it's on Disney Plus,
God.
you can stick it up your yeah.
Yeah, if you watch it on your phone, then you can stick your phone up your
Yeah.
Yum. If it's a Cookie Monster parody from LimeWire, it's sticking
God
up your
damn
yum. Which falls in line with our podcast way more, just to clarify. There's something I was going to mention based on this unifying theory thing. I can't fucking think of it. And last time I tried to think of something, everyone stopped, so I don't want to do that again.
Look, you're the driving force of this thing. We're all hanging on
That's
your
it.
every word.
That's the problem, because I take the most notes, so when it does fall flat, I have to be like, shit.
I need more notes.
I'm the one who has the thing in front of me. But I did have something really good for that, and now I just don't have it, so that sucks. So whatever. So let's
Well,
move on.
Okay. We're
Let's delete the whole thing.
we're going on
Start
almost
over.
We're going on almost 2 hours here. So
Oh, I'm over 2 hours. I was at
Yeah, but you started 15 minutes before us.
I'm 35 minutes in once we started the actual episode.
Okay, everybody put 5 fingers up. Never have I ever directly asked my boss for a raise. Oh yeah, pussies. Me too. Spoke
Oh,
to
wait a
my
minute.
dinner.
I don't
Never
understand
did
this
that.
game. Hang on.
Yeah, put a finger down if you did the
If I
thing I'm
did it.
saying.
Oh, yeah, I did that. I did.
I
I asked her a
I
raise.
am-
Asked your
I
boss
am-
for a
Said,
raise.
give me fucking money.
Did you ever talk to your
cat
dinner?
the other day.
I mean,
You
probably,
didn't eat your cat though, right?
does it?
Okay, Alf.
Does it? Gordon Shumway? Does it?
I've talked to my dinner, so I had to put mine down.
Does it
'cause I've
count
goofed around.
if you sing to it? Because I sing about things I'm doing all the time.
If it sounds like the front bottoms, then yes.
Oh, it
Like
doesn't.
talk singing. Okay, so no. Told my partner that I don't give a shit about how their day was. Never done that.
Nope.
Return to a job that you were fired from or quit.
Yeah, did that.
I went back to Jason's
I returned to
Deli.
Domino's after I quit.
I returned to Donato's. So I like wigged out and like yelled at one of the assistant managers and told her to get fucked. Like screamed in the kitchen while we were fucking slammed over like a
God.
sandwich that I had fucked up and was already fixing, and like had talked. She was a huge bitch, but I fucking yelled at her, and then like came back a month later and was like, "Hey, so I was under a lot of stress."
And you sucked, but been to Europe?
I had a trip
None
to
of us.
Europe booked in June 2020.
Nope, never been.
So yeah, you've never been to Europe. The world we live in. Okay, so put all 5 back up. None of us lost that one. Episode 2. Woken up in the middle of the night because of a baby or a child being upset. Tim's like, what are babies and
A
children?
dog.
He's like, I don't give a fuck if they're upset. I'm
My dog-
sleeping.
My dog threw up on my head.
Compared your significant other to an object or a car.
That's just silly.
That one, it could have happened, but I can't remember for sure.
Yeah.
If it did, it was as a joke.
Yeah, same.
So I'm not concluding it. Had a brain the size of a walnut.
At least.
I'm just going to put one down. Me and Tim both.
At least.
Zach, paid for dancing lessons. I've never done that.
No, I've been paid to teach dancing lessons because I'm Earl.
Paid for sex lessons.
What?
Same answer.
That happens in the fucking episode. That's episode 2. Okay, fingers back up. None of us lost yet.
Wow.
Episode 3. Wanted to kill an in-law's or significant other's parent or family member.
Is this a Sublime?
Not kill,
just-
not kill, but kind of a little bit.
Is this a Sublime song?
I can't talk about this.
I'm not going to go into detail either, but
Good
fuck
call.
this person that I'm thinking of.
Same.
Taking traditions seriously. Traditions that your family have passed down. Have you, there are any that you held on to?
My family didn't have any.
Yeah.
Mine neither.
I've tried to create some.
We had Catholicism, but I didn't really join into them too much.
Yeah.
Taking a bite out of a necklace during a hot evening.
What?
That happens with Ethel. Louis bites out of the necklace.
So
and,
look, I'm going to
Ethel-
say yes because I think I bit a candy necklace when it was high in temperature. I'm taking it literally.
Okay. I got that.
Had a relative suggest that you live somewhere shitty or dangerous. Like they say, oh, you live in that neighborhood? That sucks. I've had that a bunch of
Yeah,
times.
yeah, I did.
Family. I don't know about family.
Probably
but
currently with Zach. Probably Carthage gets a bad rep from some people.
Not
Not
also
for
I
everyone
lived
in
in
the
Clifton,
podcast, and now I
you
know where
know?
Zach lives. You live in Carthage.
But I lived in Clifton too.
Oh, you lived in Clifton.
Yeah.
And both those get bad reps when it's really just who you know.
Dude,
and
I
who you
lived
don't
on
know.
Warner. It was fucking wild.
Warner, I love Warner though.
Right?
Warner, I do. What's that cross street that's just a big fucking deep hill?
Ravine, that's where I lived. I lived on the corner of Warner and
the
Ravine.
That Ravine Market's like a good place.
Yeah, I lived
love
right
that
across the
place.
street from it. I went there all the time.
Cool. Been disliked by your significant other's family. This has happened to me before. To an extent.
I don't think I have.
They thought I was trashy.
Well,
I dated somebody who lived in a house that was across a moat you get across on a bridge. And they thought I was so poor that it was gross.
did they have to lower the drawbridge to let you in?
Yeah.
They should have, but they
It's
didn't.
all because your mom raised you poor. It's okay.
It's all my mom's choice.
Did you date
She could've
Edmure
raised me
Tully?
rich. It was up to her. Okay, fingers back up. Episode 4. Fight another guy in hopes to win a mate.
No,
Never fought anybody in my life.
No,
that's embarrassing.
that's crazy.
That's
Tim, have you ever
That's
fought anyone?
trashy.
But have you ever fought anyone at all, Tim?
No.
Y'all, Y'all straight edge.
Not a real fight.
No, man,
I've gotten
I'm not
way
real
too
straight
many
edge because I'm not in
fights.
Courage Crew.
Courage the Cowardly
I
Crew.
DDT'd this
Flirted
kid
with-
once and put him in a
What?
I DDT'd him.
I used to have a DDT shirt. It was a DDP shirt. I didn't know what it was, and people would be like, "I love your DDP shirt." And I was like, "I don't know what that means." I just keep
That
walking.
is a sweet shirt.
I got it from Goodwill.
That's a sweet shirt.
Flirted with somebody at the grocery store.
Yeah, for sure did that.
Yeah, Zach for sure. Today,
Just the meat in the meat section.
that just seems like for Zach, it seems like the ideal place to flirt with somebody where they were looking at the same meal planning aisle, and Zach's just like, "Hey, what's up? You're responsible too? What do you want to talk
Dude,
about?"
I'm not
what I-
fucking responsible. What do you mean?
He got a frozen pizza.
I just-
What's that meal
When I
prepping?
think about you, you feel responsible to me because I think about you in terms of like you and your like writers group where if somebody isn't producing, you have to take them to the side and be like, "Hey, you gotta like get your shit together."
I didn't take
Like,
him to
you're
the
just a
side.
dad.
I didn't take him to the side. I straight yelled at that motherfucker.
He thought you were gonna beat him up. He thought you were gonna beat him up.
He's
That's
2
what's-
inches taller than me. He played college football.
He thought you were gonna beat him up, and that's
So that's who Zach fought. That's who.
no. Zach didn't have to fight him because the guy was already afraid of Zach's dad power.
Look, man, I treated
If
him
you
like
ever
the beta
carry-
cuck he is.
Have you ever carried a cart for somebody?
Wait, what?
A cart. Carried somebody's cart for them, like Gary carries Fran's
Like an
cart.
old
mean-
person?
You know,
carried?
I'm just asking you a fucking question. What do you like? Help somebody get their groceries from the store to their
Hell
car.
no.
Yeah, I did that last time I went to Kroger before today. I was walking to my car and a woman was like, "Hey, can you help me put this in my trunk?" And I was like, "Sure."
And that woman was Buffalo
And you-
Bill,
And you put her in the trunk.
and killed you.
Yeah, she said, "Are you a great big fat person?" And I was like, "Damn." It's cold.
My issue, I remember I was at a grocery store with my mom once, and there was a woman clearly struggling with her groceries, and my mom looked at her, then looked at me to see if I was going to do something. I wasn't, because I know better. My mom was like, ugh, and went and helped her. And I was like, my mom was like, why didn't you like respond? I was like, if I walked over there, she would have thought I was going to rape her. Like, that's
my
not
God.
it's true though. Like, I literally could not have the same response that my 50-year-old mother could have.
I don't know, man.
Where they think it was all good intentions.
If I saw Hodor rolling up to me in the parking lot, I don't think he was going to try to rape me.
I can't believe you just called me Hodor on this fucking podcast. Yeah, same size. I get it, but
I just mean that, like, you know, like
I've
vocabulary
just
wise.
learned from experience that, like, when I walk down the street, people cross the street to not be on the same side of the street as me. And yeah, that's not a real thing to be worried about. I remember being in Gainesville once, heading to practice with Gutless, Tim's band. And, like, every time there was somebody on the same side of the street as me, I crossed to the other side because I was like, I don't want them to think I'm going to attack them. And, like, that was my big concern. And when I got to the place, I was like, damn, like, other people have so much worse to worry about than I do because I'm just worried people are going to think I'm an attacker.
No, see, I'm the opposite of you where I'm like, I don't know, 2.5 inches shorter than you and still a big dude. And I'm like, I better cross the street so these guys don't beat me up. Like, I still have the mentality of like a 9-year-old.
You forget that you're not a 9-year-old anymore.
I'm like, oh man.
I think the last experience I had where, like, strangers said they were going to beat me up, I was like 22, and me and my friends were tripping on acid, and we walked around the corner in Newport, and there were these people on the porch, and they got, like, real mad at us for just walking down the street, and they were like, what the fuck do you want? I was just like, we're just, like, walking. They're like, and they started following us, and we're just like, we're on too much acid to deal with this situation. We need to get back home immediately. And we ran. We just ran home.
Spoiler, those
It was
guys weren't
mainly just,
there.
like, they may have never existed. That's as far as I know. The last thing on that one is, oh no, there's two more. Have you ever scheduled a fight for a specific date and time?
No.
Really? I did once. It was the one straight edge guy at my middle school. There was one.
Middle
Count
school?
His
middle
name was
school.
Tyler. Middle school. His name was Tyler.
He wasn't straight edge.
wore
He
his
was
mom's
13.
pants.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he later became a drug addict and then became a CI for the cops.
What? I'm shocked.
But he still had
narc.
tattoos of 3 X's and Stay Gold on him. He was the only straight edge kid at my middle school, of course, and he wanted to get in a fight, and he said to meet him at 3:15 p.m. outside of school. He didn't show up. And then later at a school dance, he's like, I'm glad neither of us showed up at that fight. And I was like, I showed up at that fight. He's like, but I knew we'd be friends. I was like, we aren't friends. You keep calling me fat every time we talk. Like, we're not friends.
He's like, hey, fatty, I'm glad we're such good friends. Wait, hang on.
Hey, you fat faggot. I'm glad we're friends. And
Hey,
like,
fat boy.
the only... He was just a piece of shit. I'm glad that last time I ran into him, he was at an Tom Potato Show, and he was just like, Ben, do you remember me? And I was like, no, who the fuck are you? He's like, it's Tyler. I'm like, and then he gave me his last name. He was like, oh, okay, you look like shit. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I hope he's dead. Anyway, so episode 5, actually. Have you ever had a coming of age ritual in your religion or family?
Yeah.
Oh wow, what was it?
I did my Holy Communion.
I didn't do mine, and I still went. I did like the fucking thing in Catholic Church every time. I went up, got my bread and the water.
You got your snack.
But I didn't do my Holy Communion. I skipped that. I just did it anyway.
I was also baptized. But,
It's called your first communion, is what you did. I didn't do that. I just went up every time that we did the communion at church.
You lied?
Yeah, I lied.
Yeah, they were cleansing his sins. It was fine.
You think God knows? You think Rodney Mullen knows I did that?
Oh yeah.
But no, I didn't do my first communion, but I did do communion every time after it.
You took the classes.
And
it's okay.
I got baptized too. Did you get baptized? That's not a coming of age thing though.
Well, you're born, and then they do
Yeah,
it.
that's coming to life.
Jizzing of age, jizzing to life.
Ugh.
Did you ever argue with your dad about traditions?
Not really.
I once argued with my dad about biblical historians. That count?
I don't know. I remember asking my dad if he believed in God, and he said, well, I believe if you think there's a God, there's a God. I'm like, no, I'm asking, do you believe in God? He's like, well, I've married 2 Catholic women. I'm like, Dad, do you believe in God? He's just like, I don't have an answer to this question. It's like, Dad. He's like, I guess not. He eventually was like, I guess I don't. Like, whatever.
You forced your father to confront his lack of faith, and that's why he's dead.
That's the same. Zach, it's not funny when you say it. The later thing with his like drug use, like when he was about to die, is like I remember asking him, I was like, how did you get hepatitis C? And he's like, no one knows. I was like, well, my mom said it was because you used a lot of drugs. And he's like, anything's possible, is what he said to me. And I was like, oh, okay. And then, like, right before he passed away, he was like, we were watching Why Could You Know? And the guy on a PCP episode came on. And my dad was like, oh, that was my drug. And I was like, what?
So maybe he
fuck?
didn't believe in God because he probably saw God on PCP.
He saw God on PCP already, yeah.
So I recently got a text from my friend who's, like, working on a book. He's, like, writing a book of like stories, like memoirs kind of thing. But he asked me to give him like a couple examples of things you could say that the response would be, could be a lot of things. and you asking your dad, you think that's how you got hepatitis C? Could be a lot of things.
No way of knowing. That needle could have slipped in. There's no way of knowing.
Could be a lot of things.
It's literally like the Office when Creed talks about having so much sex in the 60s. He's like, I had a lot of sex in the 60s. A man could have slipped in. There's literally no way of knowing. Which is my favorite fucking line. There's no way of knowing. Have you ever been beat up by your sister?
No.
100% I have.
No.
I once, in the same day, accidentally
God, I wish I was beat up
hit
by
my sister in the
Zach's
head
sister.
with a roller skate that I was swinging around my head by the shoelace, and also by a wooden baseball bat that I was swinging around
Oh
my
my
head.
god.
What were you up to? What the fuck?
I was just fucking around, man. I was like 8 years old, swinging shit around my head, and I just clocked her in the head with both of them.
Which sister?
Thea.
I don't know that one.
No, you don't
That's
know
fine.
her. You only know Emily.
I only know Emily. Yeah. Yeah, I got beat up by both my sisters. Listen to self-help tapes or audiobooks or podcasts.
Self-help podcasts?
I would say
Not really.
to an extent a little
Martin
bit.
Sarah
I've listened to
count?
like I've listened to some Dale Carnegie shit and like whatever. I listened to Bossy Pants by Tina Fey.
Well, that's a book.
Hey!
It's a self-help book.
Is it? Is it really?
No, it's not. Who are you?
It's
Who
good.
are you yelling at, Tim?
George.
George.
George the cat.
Bullshit.
That's my
I
father's
hate the
name.
name George.
George.
And have you ever resolved a fight between two people?
Yes.
No.
I've definitely done
I don't
that.
think so.
I've been a mediator way more times than I wanted to
The
be.
same.
That question is based on Robbie resolving the fight between Roy and Earl in the episode 5 of season 1.
The worst
Well,
episode.
But also, would you rather like resolve that fight and give all your shit back to Earl, or just keep all the shit?
it.
Because Roy's apartment was entirely all shit he borrowed from Roy, which I love. Because what was he spending his money on?
Girls
feel
with
like
long
that's
necks.
I feel long neck OnlyFans subscriptions. But
Onlynext.com.
but no, I feel like that's like a funny, like that's like the opposite of the trope where like when like the Simpsons move to what is the to work for like Hank Scorpio when they
Yeah.
move and he has all of Flanders' stuff, like that's the main character should be the guy who's borrowed all the stuff, not like he lent all the stuff. That's weird.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, those are all my never have I ever questions.
Cool.
So I had a bunch of other shit, but I feel like we've gone on for 2
We're
hours.
pretty
so
long.
This has to end.
Yeah.
This has to end.
I'm at 150 minutes.
Which is my favorite TV show. Welcome to 150 minutes.
I'm one of the minutes.
This is Chris Hansen.
Chris Hansen? What the fuck
Nope.
are you talking about?
Nightline was on the same thing. I don't
He's on
fucking know.
2020.
I don't care. I don't. What do you think I watch TV?
Well, we did it, guys.
CBS.
We did it. Hopefully you can listen to this and watch it on Disney Plus, and
Yeah, that'd be cool.
listen to it for us.
Shit, you're right. Fucking 60 Minutes was CBS and Chris Hansen was
my
NBC.
Yeah, that's right.
This is
Um,
at ends. But yeah, thank you for joining our special episode of Sinclarity. We're usually way worse than this, so it's cool if you join in.
shit.
Nobody knows. There's literally no way of knowing.
I feel like I had like one or
every-
two like sincere monologues that like are really changing the tone of the whole thing.
I don't know what a monologue is, but anyways.
It's those things
Just
at
a
the
single
beginning
log, man.
of SNL with the celebrity does one. That's a monologue.
What the fuck is SNL?
Oh, what? I don't know.
Oh Jesus.
But anyway, thanks for hanging out with us here, and hopefully we can get you to listen to us and watch the show. I don't know.
Yeah, subscribe to our
Stick around.
show.
Stick around.
Listen to us talk about dinosaurs
just-
instead of
Stay
ska.
with us. We sometimes do talk about the show Dinosaurs, and we talk about ska, we talk about Pokemon, we talk about Harry Potter, we talk about GoldenEye, we talk about I guess politics to an
A
extent.
lot of
but
times,
not really,
like there were a
because-
lot of Bush did 9/11 jokes.
Yeah, but not to Issa's mom's pleasure.
No.
Like Issa's mom did not like that.
Do not
But like
those
when we
jokes.
say Bush did 9/11, we mean he fucked the actual date, September 11th.
Yeah,
Like if you can have sex with a
definitely
concept,
more
he did
meta. And also, like the thing to me for that is like, for one, it's Issa's mom's white, so I don't care about her.
Oh my god.
We're going down a real path
All
here.
right. You can't.
Thanks
You
to
gotta
Cartoon
take-
Network for doing our theme song.
Yeah. Thanks for Cartoon Network for recording our theme song. It's great. I just talked to Jared the other day because I was babysitting my friends, and one of my friends was wearing the Cartoon Network hat while we were playing Smash Bros. And I took a picture and sent it to Jared. And Jared was like, "Oh my god, I love this!" And then thanks to Amy Shenanigans for doing our fucking photos of me and Tim, and also the one of Zach, which for this episode I'll learn. I know there's a way to like do a specific photo per episode. I'll learn how to do it, and I'll edit together a version of me, Tim, and Zach. And it'll be great. And then thanks to God, I can't remember his fucking name. Some fucking water cup.
Yancey Andermeyer.
Yeah, Zachary George.
George.
So thanks to Zach George for editing the podcast and for having the band Waterson, which are really good. And also, wait, so you can listen to Waterson on Bandcamp and Spotify, but also listen to Gutless, the band.
Yeah,
Tim
listen
is
to
in.
Gutless. That stuff's good.
I've been in a big Gutless kick the past few days, so definitely listen to Gutless. Like, they're on Spotify. You can listen to Portuguese lyric versions of the songs on Bandcamp. It's so good.
And also check out the Joy Eater record. I'm really proud of it.
Shut up. Nobody cares about Joy Eater. Listen to Joy Eater. Tim's other band that's really good. But yeah, thanks for joining us for this bonus episode. And have fun watching Dinosaurs now that you finally fucking can watch it. It's so good.
Yes. No more excuses.
And at this point, keep an eye out for as yet untitled Groundhog Day podcast.
I'm excited about it. The episode we listened to with Zach and Snake or whatever the fuck his name is was very good.
Snake Pilsen?
It's not Snake, is it?
Did
I make that up?
I'm sure I don't know what you mean.
What's your fucking guy's name? What's your guy's
Who's the
name?
fucking guy?
Who's the fucking guy? The AFI podcast. The AFI podcast. What does that even mean? AFI tattoo.
That's me. I have the AFI tattoo.
Jesus Christ. So anyway, listen to the podcast.
I'm really difficult.
Zach is very difficult. Listen to the podcast.
Okay. Well, yeah, check that out. We'll have more info about it when Zach gives us more info about it.
Yeah, for sure.
And
I'm going to go pee, so enjoy your extinction.
yeah, and remember to like us and to comment and to share.
Oh, God. We very often forget to say at a dinosaur's tail on all the social media. We forget this almost every episode.
Yep, dinosaurs.gay. Do whatever.
Dinosaurs.gay, for sure. Dinosaurspodcast.com. I don't update it. So, like, just fucking join in.
Yep.
And when we say share, we don't mean share the link to the episode. We just mean share with each other like good babies.
These are
We just mean Sonny and Cher, to be clear. G words, tramps, and thieves. You can hear from the people of the town they call us.
Look, don't forget to like, subscribe, and Sunny.
And Chaz Bono. All right, love y'all.
Bye.
Have a good extinction.